All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to my mother over here. Camera's reversed. Yaya. Yaya liked to be called Yaya. She didn't like grandma. And Yaya is Greek for grandma, even though she was raised by Italians and adopted. So I'm 50% question mark. This is the Green Mill. I got to be a regular there for some time. I first walked into there in my early 20s and heard a lot of music. Like they had a 16-piece band. Um, it was like they dressed like the 1950s, like the saddle shoes and the pleated skirts. And I remember I got too close to the dance floor, and a guy who spun a girl and dipped her almost got me in the nose. And second time I walked in there about a week or so later, it was so quiet, and I was like, "What's going on in here? Like a funeral?" And it was actually their poetry night. I guess on Sunday, what I came to learn was that Sunday for the last 30 years, 7 to 10 p.m., it's a poetry slam. So I'm trying to remember the cover. I think it's only $5 to get in. Not bad. So uh, they have anywhere from 5 to 10 poets read one poem. They pick three people who know nothing about poetry to be judges, and the two best poems, those two go against each other for this a second round, and the winner gets $10. So they say it's the best fun you can have for $5 on a Sunday in the city of Chicago. The other days of the week, it is a jazz bar. It's a former speakeasy. It's a former Al Capone hangout, and it's like stepping back in time when you walk in there. So highly recommend the Green Mill if you're in Chicago, my hometown. Right now, I'm talking to you from Ho Chi Minh, Saigon. Let me just see if I can turn this a little bit so you can see it. Boom. Crazy. I have been here since the beginning of the outbreak, and I only have a sister and a niece remaining in the States. I'm soon going to have a brother. Um, Good guy, Polly. My sister's going to get married in July. I hope that I can return to the States for her wedding without doing quarantine, which is about $2,000 because 14 days in a hotel. But from what I know right now, the only people who don't have to do quarantine are those who have the vaccine, and unfortunately, the vaccine is not even available here in Vietnam. Vietnam today is in its fourth lockdown. I'm in Ho Chi Minh, Saigon. There's the highest cases ever, which is only 480 cases in the whole country. Okay, but um, uh, there's no vaccine here yet. It's going to the countries that need it first. Anyways, sorry for the long intro, just giving you a little introduction and how this started. At the Green Mill one night, not this night when I was here with my mom, but another night, after I got done with my set, I started performing poetry there every Sunday, and I had a little bit of some groupies, forming, and I was really enjoying it. I think it's really therapeutic. I highly recommend it. If you at least go to a poetry slam, oh, the term poetry slam started there. Mark Smith, he is the founder. It actually started a couple blocks down, and then like in the second year, it moved to the Green Mill, and it's been there ever since. But the term poetry slam started here. Okay, so and it's a worldwide thing now. It's the acting out of poetry, not just reading the poem. But one night I did my set, sat down next to a girl, and she was, oh, I really liked your poems, and she was nice, and we got to talking, and I learned that she was from Thailand, and she had been working in the U.S., as part of her internship, but it was over, and she only had like a week or two left to get back to be within the terms of her visa, and so there's a couple cities she wanted to see. I think she was working in New York, and Chicago was on her list. So I was like, okay, cool, and this and that and this and that. Getting to talk to her, and by the time we left there, I just felt like we were like best friends. We only had a couple beers, but felt like she was best friends. And then let me show you what she looks like. Gonna have to minimize this a little bit here. This is her. Uh, Pang, Pang. Nice girl. And so she only had a couple days in Chicago. She was going to like three more cities after Chicago before she went back to New York and then back to Thailand to be, within her visa. So I took her around Chicago, showed her some of the sights, took her to the Bean. This is our reflection off the Bean. It's a big chrome coffee-looking bean. What else did we do? Oh, I went to take her to see the skyline. This was kind of funny because the skyline actually was full of fog that day. So I was like, darn. But just imagine it. um, uh, the next day or later that day, we got a little more clear weather. I took her above the weather to the Sears Tower. Um, It's technically called the Willis Tower now, the last few years, but real Chicagoans refuse to call it that. The owners decided to name it Willis Tower after their biggest renter. So there's two big buildings in Chicago. Um, the Sears Tower is the tallest, and then the John Hancock. The John Hancock is primarily residence. The Sears Tower is all businesses and offices. Okay. Then I took her to see the skyline another night. Now we had a view. Okay. Then I took her to eat at Billy Goats, which is under Lower Wacker. There were some skits from here taken by John Belushi, who is brother to James Belushi, another comedian that still has a pretty active career. He was on a Saturday Night Live. He was discovered by Second City, Jim Belushi, John Belushi, sorry. And there's this cheeseburger, no Pepsi, Coke, no fries, chips skit that they would always do. So, pretty cool place. You got to check it out. Then we went and did the bridge near the Trump building there when people like Trump for a short while. Or I should say they didn't hate him. That's on the river right there. And then we did the Signature Lounge. This is at the top of the John Hancock building. This is the other building. You can sit up there and get a drink. You can usually a short line on weekdays, and if you wait a little longer, you can get a window seat. There's a bar and a restaurant just above it. So the restaurant you usually need a reservation. So then this was our little picture after dinner, and that was the last time I saw her. So she was really nice. Oh, actually, I did see her. Then she went on to the rest of her, her little trip to the other cities. I think Colorado and somewhere else. I can't remember, California. And then I got to see her one more time. She told me she was leaving, on whatever day. I think this was February 27th. Yes, February 27th. And oh no. Sorry. This was March, early March, okay, 2016. And I was just like, wow, she just left an impression on me, So I don't know if you've ever met anybody like that just kind of like leaves an impression on you. But I said she was just so nice. So I'm like, I got to take a vacation. And I had been through some stuff, and I just said, this is, if there's a time to do anything, the time is now. I'm just tired of the way things are going in my life, and I just knew that I needed to do something, different, and go somewhere. I had a business, and I love my business. Thank God for my business. My customers have let me live a pretty interesting life, but I work hard. I was sleeping in my office like 2 days a week, on my desk, using my backpack for a pillow. I've mentioned that in some of my other videos, not to be repetitive because it's the truth. And my cholesterol was deadly high. I was 100 pounds overweight. And the doctors pretty much laid it out to me that if I don't take a break, I'm perfect candidate for a heart attack. So anyways, I just decided, hey, okay, it is time to do something, and we need to get moving. And I'd helped a lot of people, and I was just getting to the point where I was like, hey, there's a song by Ed Sheeran. I gotta save myself before I can save anybody else. It's a great song. Check it out. Anyways, I figure I'm gonna start doing this in the rest of my videos. I'm going to start dropping in some quotes that I like. And this was a quote that I had read, not too long before my trip. When I give, it does not come with strings. I'm not keeping track of what you owe me. When I give, I choose to do so without ulterior motives. I give because I'm genuine. I give because I know what it's like to be without, to long for and be ignored, to speak and not be heard, to care for and not have nothing returned. When I give, it's because I get it. It's because I know the value in what I have in my heart, and I refuse to let the world stop me from sharing that. But when things start being taken for granted, when you no longer appreciate my sincerity, I won't switch. I won't get angry. I won't be spiteful. I'll just get smart, and I'll change your role in my life. Because when I give, I'm all in. But when I'm done, there's no looking back. And I was in between relationships, and I'd realized, like, man, the last decade of my life was spent fixing and helping other people. And I'm like, all right, this is my time. So I arranged to take 10 days off and I booked a trip to Thailand because I was hoping I could see Pang over there too, and just maybe she could show me around like I showed her around Chicago. And little did I know, a few days before that trip, I'm going to bounce around some pictures here. Uh, a buddy of mine said, his name is Woo. His parents are Korean, but um, this was the photo. He's like, Angel, I want to grab a burger. I want to show you something. So, okay, grab a burger, and he lays down his phone, and he booked the trip with me. I'm like, cool. All right, two single guys going to, Thailand. This will be cool. And about a day or two before we left, he said, Angel, I got this other friend. His name's Joe. Told him we're going. He just wants to join. Is that cool? I'm like, yeah, it's cool. Well, he says he's a good guy. All right, three guys going to Thailand, and off we went. Basically, I'm just going to show you real quick the itinerary, and I hope that you get a point in your life where you're able to kind of match this, or something similar. It's crazy. You never know where life is going to take you. I tell you, that's for sure. Um, it was, I think, 10-day trip, and we took 10 flights. And basically, what we would do at the end of each night, we each picked one thing we really wanted to do, and once we did that, those three things, at the end of each dinner, we'd pick up our phones, kind of Google, check out some things, vote on something. Where do we want to go tomorrow? We'd pull out our phones, book our flights, book our hotel, and we were in the airport the next day, and we just kept moving for 10 days. It was absolutely crazy. So, wanted to kind of show you the little notepad I had taken a photo of. Let's come in here 1 second. Thank you for being patient. Wow, this is crazy. We're going to put a lot of photos at the end of each video now, too. I keep forgetting to do that in all the videos that I post. So, here we go. Some screenshots. I took screenshots of each thing we booked, so like from Thailand to Cambodia, Siem Reap, et cetera, et cetera. Give me 1 second. Oops. Still just trying to find that one screenshot. It was crazy. Like I didn't know until I got home, and I stuffed all my boarding passes in the same place, and I realized that I had a lot of boarding passes from that one trip. So I started logging them all down on a piece of notebook paper, and I just couldn't believe how many we took. So in 10 days, we did 22,550 miles. So we went. I went Chicago to JFK. Him and Joe flew together. They got on the same plane, but I was on my own plane because I booked mine in advance and my plane was full. Chicago to JFK, JFK to Taipei, and JFK is John Kennedy in New York, for those of you who don't know. Taipei, Taiwan to Bangkok, Bangkok to Siem Reap, Cambodia. Around there, we went and saw Angkor Wat. You're going to see some videos from there also. Then that was Wu. That's the thing that Wu wanted to see. When we were in Thailand, he was kind of like a bookworm. He's like, hey, do you know we can go to Cambodia on the train for like $5? I'm like, cool. He's like, let's do it. Let's get another stamp in the passport. But he's like, but no, there's no air conditioning. I'm like, how much to fly? He's like $50. I'm like, cool, let's fly. So he wanted to see Angkor Wat, a very, very touching, very beautiful, beautiful place. Highly, highly recommended. If you go to Cambodia, you have to see Angkor Wat. And if you've been to Cambodia and you didn't see it, then I'm sorry, but you have no idea what you've missed. You need to go back and check it out. Siem Reap to Koh Samui. Koh Samui was my choice. Okay, that was a beautiful island in Thailand. And then I think no, I take that back. Siem Reap was Joe's wish. Okay, he wanted to see Siem Reap. I wanted to see Koh Samui, and Wu wanted to see Chiang Mai, Thailand, which is if you look at the country of Thailand, it kind of looks like a tooth with the two roots coming down. And Chiang Mai is northern central Thailand, and Chiang Mai is where the Songkran festival started. Now, let me tell you about this real quick. You're going to see some videos in just a moment. We're going to start running with all the videos, and I'll shut up. Songkran is their New Year's celebration. When I booked the 10 days, I just got on, found a cheap date range, booked it, and I had no idea that I was going to be there for Songkran. This was the year before their king died in 2017, so this was April of 2016. And if you haven't heard about Bangkok's New Year's, when I tell you this, maybe you recognize it from hearing it from a friend. The entire city arms themselves with super soakers. It is a 3 day water battle. Like you just go around shooting people. There's trucks that put ice water, houses that have these 50-gallon drums. You can just dip your gun and refill it. Some put ice in theirs to because the girls will scream a little more when it's ice cold. But it's a great, great time. And so we were lucky enough to be there for Songkran. I'll tell you quickly, the first day I stepped out of my hotel in Bangkok, we were only on the second floor of this hotel, and I got shot in the eye from like a 10-year-old down at the ground level. And his gun was so strong, it tucked my eyelid under my, like behind my eyeball. Like, it's great. I'm like, okay, the water festival started. Let's go buy guns, and we got the biggest guns we could find. Um, I'll just tell you a quick story on this one because I gotta share this. We get our super soakers and I say we kind of look like Ghostbusters. These like 2 gallon, I think 1 gallon super soakers. I mean they're heavy, and we're walking down a side street, and it's extra credit if you find somebody who's dry, who's not been hit yet. You know what I mean? Like you get like more cool points if you get somebody who's dry. And so sure enough, the first couple we see coming is an older man, white guy with a Thai-looking wife, really long hair. She's dressed in just kind of like a nice little dress and got her hair in a ribbon. And he looks like a crocodile hunter, kind of safari style. And he's tall. He's like 6'2", And I'm like, hey, you're looking kind of dry there. And you know what he says? He says, if you fucking shoot me, it'll be your fucking peril. And I said, whoa, you should watch your mouth in front of the lady. And I shot him from like his chin down to his belly. And this guy chased me. He chased me. And so I was running, and a pickup truck was coming, a parked pickup truck, and I'm like, I gotta lose the gun. He's gaining on me. So I throw the gun in the back of the pickup truck, and we're running around this pickup truck. He looks like he will kill me if he gets his hands on me. So when he reached into the truck, and he like you little asshole, this and that or whatever, and he threw the gun back at me, and I caught it. I'm like, you should have kept the gun, and I shot him again. He was pissed, and we were running around the truck, and I just see Wu and Joe. They're just keeled over, just holding their stomachs, laughing so hard. I'm like, man, if we had that on tape, man, oh god, it would totally go viral. Like, oh, it was hilarious. So his wife eventually calmed him down, and he just, she's pulling him away by one arm, and he's cussing all the way back. And it's like that, It's just like you can't go outside. Don't try to conduct. If you have to do some business in Thailand, don't try to conduct any business over Songkran because you're going to get wet. The next guy that we saw that was completely dry was a white guy who was wearing like a suit, and he got sprayed too. And he got really pissed and he tipped over a bucket. I'm like, you don't come outside. This is tradition. You don't go to a country and not don't intend to follow their tradition. So, anyways, let's get the video started. Sorry for the long intro, but I just wanted to tell you it's a beautiful trip, and I have a lot of local friends in Chicago, a big Vietnamese family, Wu, all of them who just were like friends and family to me, and they've always told me about Vietnam, where I am now, and that's the reason I bounced here. Also, when a volcano erupted, delaying my departure in the Philippines. More cool stories. But before I get started, one last thing. So this was 2016. We did this, Chicago, Thailand, Cambodia. And then I repeated this trip by myself about a year ago, just before coronavirus, okay? So I'm going to show you some videos of that. I bumped into my old friend that lives in Cambodia, and she took me around, took me to a culture museum. I got to be put into some plays and some acts and some routines, some native costumes, really hilarious. So you'll get to see me in like a tiki outfit, kind of cool, little grass skirt. So more to come in the near future. All right, thank you. Please do like the video. Please do comment. Please do subscribe. It'll keep me on top of all the other guys out here roaming around. Thank you so much. Call your mother. Tell her that you love her. All right, and the world goes round and round. Take care.